Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mitchell LaBarge. I'm a very avid sports fan in general, but definitely counting, as you can see, I'm counting down to the March Madness, definitely by hours, days, and minutes. It's about 70, 75-ish days till our tournament begins. And as most of you know, the college football season ended on Monday night with Clemson defeating Alabama in a blowout win, which I am very satisfied with. So congratulations to Clemson and their fans. I'm very happy at this that the upset happened. They made history, and now we're on the countdown of the March Madness, which is the next Christmas. We selected Duke over Norfolk State, Sam Houston State. The Final Four is back in Minneapolis, so a lot of people have them winning it all so far. That's the projections from the ESPN people and more. For this one, I took Purdue. I don't really know too much about UCF, but I'm a big fan. I'm obviously a big fan of the Big Ten since I'm a huge Wolverines fan. So I took Purdue in this matchup. Lipscomb in Wisconsin. Ethan Happ is one of the best players in the country. He can pretty much do anything: dunk, shoot threes, do layups, and I would still go with them for at least this game. I know Lipscomb might be tough because the 12-5 games are always unpredictable to pick and predict. So I'm going to take Wisconsin in this one, and they're having a down year, but we'll go with them for the round of 64. Kentucky and Georgia State. I remember their coach in one shining moment. He kind of fell off his chair, and it was one of the best moments of one shining moment, either in the 14 or 15 season. But the Kentucky Wildcats, they obviously have a lot of All-Americans. They dominated against North Carolina. Dominated. I was wrapping Christmas presents during that game, and I couldn't believe how much they outplayed North Carolina. And we'll go with them for this one. Ohio State and Arizona. I really think the Big Ten could keep doing well, but we can go with Sean Miller's Arizona Wildcats. They had a big scare getting upset to the Buffalo Bulls last year, and it sucked because I had Arizona winning in 3 of my brackets, and then 2 other brackets I had Villanova winning. So hopefully they can pull out this upset this time and learn their lessons from that, and a past Elite Eight where they blew their goals and dreams of making a Final Four against Wisconsin. Nevada and UC Irvine. I really like that the Martin Twins are back in Nevada. I had some family attend the game in Nashville last year, the second round, and they defeated Cincinnati and came back from pretty fairly big margin. So I'm excited to see what they can do in their conference tournament and the postseason. NC State and Florida Gators. This is a good matchup between the ACC and SEC. It's one of my favorite matchups for sure, the round of 64. And I would go with the Gators because Chris Chioza's gone, but I could see them playing their hearts out against NC State. Texas Tech and CSU Bayfield. Texas Tech's obvious. I don't know many of their players, but I would go with them obviously over CSU Bakersfield, which no one's heard about, compared to Buffalo. They're in the MAC conference. They're building tremendously, and with them losing to Marquette, the game I attended on December 22nd, it shows the tournament's going to be so interesting. And if whether they keep winning or losing the big games in their conference, we shall see what's gonna change throughout this rest of the season. Michigan State, Northern Colorado. We'll go with Michigan State. Seton Hall. Seton Hall is a team that I had going to the Elite Eight last year. I couldn't believe that they couldn't pull it out against Kansas. They played their hearts out. That Gilgal guy, I don't know if he's still there, but they played their hearts out, and they were so close to upsetting Kansas in Wichita, Kansas, around their home crowd. But we will go with them this year, and I hope they can go far because they were my Final Four projection last year. Mississippi State, Wofford. Wofford has played close with teams over the years in the tournament, but we'll still go with Mississippi State. And Florida State and Murray State. Murray State's very underrated, I'm hearing. And I'm hearing from other other ESPN analysts that Murray State could make a run. I mean, if they win their conference tournament, obviously, then they'll keep looking at them as a big name. But we'll go with Florida State. I like what they did last year. I mean, our Wolverines had a really hard time, like transitioning to their really tough zone defense. So I'll go with them here, and they're gonna have far more talent and strength and size this year. Indiana and playing the winner of Creighton and Kansas State. Again, Big Ten. The Big Ten's dominating one of the toughest conferences in the nation right now. And I would go with them. I mean, Creighton kind of gets overrated, and Kansas State, they were down the Sweet 16 last year, and they beat UMBC after they shocked the world and beat Virginia. So I don't see the 11th seed winning this matchup. North Carolina and Lehigh. Lehigh upset Duke in the 2013 season, which my mom's a huge Duke fan. She was not very happy on that matchup, but I don't see North Carolina losing to them. They've been too successful. They've been to 2 national championships in the last 4 seasons, and I still see them pulling out that game in a fairly close matchup. TCU and Minnesota. The Final Four is in Minneapolis, and I hope to see the Gophers go to a couple rounds so they at least have a chance to represent their hometown in the Final Four, unlike the Minnesota Vikings didn't in 2017. And the Philadelphia Eagles won it all, and I'm a huge Green Bay Packers fan. I was kind of even pulling for the Vikings a little bit to think about how much they've been through, and they haven't made the Super Bowl since the 80s and have never won before. But anyways, we'll go with Minnesota. Hopefully they make a run to make it to their home Final Four at the U.S. Bank Stadium. Gonzaga and Purdue Fort Wayne. Gonzaga will obviously get this one. Virginia, Texas Southern. This is interesting. Texas Southern beat someone big this year. Beat Michigan State 5 years ago, and they beat one other power conference team. And this would be a tough matchup for Tony Bennett's Cavaliers. But we'll go with Virginia. Iowa and LSU. Iowa, I'll keep going with the Big Ten. Comment if I'm still annoying about how good the Big Ten is, but we'll keep going with that. Fresno State and Iowa State. Fresno State was very underrated for football this year. I think highly of them in basketball as well. If they dominate their conference tournament, the committee will really like what they can do, and they can even move up from a 12th seed to maybe a 10th seed or further up. We'll go with Fresno State to pick the upset. Iowa State hasn't done enough over the years to impress me in the NCAA. Houston, they nearly scared my Wolverines in Wichita, Kansas last year. I had a hard time trying to control my excitement with my fiance's grandma sleeping during that time when Jordan Poole hit the historic buzzer beater, and my fiance woke up and she told me to settle down and that she was happy for me that my team pulled it out. We'll go with Houston in this fairly close matchup, and they have a lot of talent back this year. Arizona State, Syracuse against Nebraska. Syracuse, I think, has the edge again. They'll go far. They'll go far as the one of the first 4 teams this year. Nebraska, they're building in football, they're building in basketball, but I don't see the aspect of this 11th seed going down between either Arizona State or Syracuse. Boeheim's 2-3 zone will be tough again for whoever faces them in the tournament, including the first floor. Oklahoma and Princeton. Oklahoma will get this one. I don't know any of their players. Trae Young's gone, but I heard they have a chance to make a run. Villanova, Cincinnati. Villanova is very down this year. Our Wolverines beat them November 14th, which I enjoyed that one very casually a day after my birthday, knowing that we do have potential as a squad, and if we rematch them at Villanova, it's a tough game, but knowing Michigan's been through a lot, and they've only lost 2 games since February 6th of last year, that's where you never know. But Villanova will climb over this hump in this matchup, the close 7-10 game against Cincinnati. Like I said, Cincinnati nearly missed the Sweet 16 against Nevada. I see this being a very close game, maybe double overtime. Tennessee and Rider, I'll go with Tennessee. I like to see what they can do this year and hopefully go further than last year, because I had them in the finals in golf course bracket. It was a free bracket to win free golf for life, but that was obviously taken away a second round when Tennessee was down to Cinderella Loyola Chicago. We got my Wolverines against Detroit Mercy, Robert Morris. Every game's tough in the tournament, but I'll still go with my gut, Michigan. Seton Hall, Louisville. It's a really tough matchup either way for Michigan. They would be playing one out of two power conference teams. St. John's upset Duke last year in the Holiday Classic game in New York, and Louisville's down. But I would go with St. John's because I think the Big East is gonna be helpful for teams to watch out for. Buffalo, North Texas. Buffalo came undefeated when I was at the game at the Pfizer Forum December 22nd. But what Marquette did was outstanding. I'm a big fan of Marquette as well, and Buffalo will overcome this climb, and they'll beat North Texas. Auburn will beat Hofstra. Marquette, they will beat VCU. I really liked what Marcus Howard did. Folks, if you didn't watch that game or go on YouTube, get there ASAP because Sam Hauser, the senior of Marquette from Stevens Point, he hit one of the biggest buzzer beaters you'll ever see in your life, and Marcus Howard had over 50 points in one game. So stream that on YouTube and then just see how underrated Marquette is and how experienced they are for this year's tournament when they get in. Virginia Tech, Radford. Maryland, Ole Miss, another Big Ten team, will beat the SEC team, which will be nice. Kansas will beat Valparaiso. Duke will beat Purdue. The Badgers, I think they have a rematch against Kentucky from 2014. They lost in the Final Four in a very close matchup in Houston, Texas against Kentucky, and they unfortunately didn't make the championship game, but what a season that was. And then the year after, they bounced back to beat undefeated 38-0 Kentucky, and I was in Florida for that game around a whole bunch of Badger fans. It's one of the best nights of my life, and unbelievable knowing that Frank Kaminsky and Sam Decker, they had a really good senior class that made a great run to Indianapolis and fell short in the championship game, but yep, it could have come back someday. And then Kentucky will have a hard time with Ethan Happ, so I'm gonna go with the hometown Wisconsin Badgers. Arizona and Nevada. This is a tough game because I'm gonna go with another 11th seed, just because Syracuse really impressed me when they nearly went to the Final Four as an 11th seed. And I would go with Arizona. I really like what Sean Miller does. The great coach, and the Martin brothers will eventually slip away because they are in a weak conference, and they're not always going to match up in the higher D1 matchups. Florida, Texas Tech. We'll go with Texas Tech because Florida lost a lot of talent. Michigan State and Seton Hall. We'll go with Michigan State. Tom Izzo is a good coach. I can highly admit that even as a Michigan fan. He deserves to make a big run this tournament and represent the Big Ten more. And Seton Hall will make it close, but against Michigan State, it's not gonna go their way with their All-American team. Mississippi State, Florida State. We'll continue with the Florida State bandwagon. Indiana, North Carolina. I see us being a close, contested matchup. Bobby Knight's a former Indiana coach. I've known his comments in the past, like his quotes. I mean, it's worth saving them, folks, if you can. But we'll go with North Carolina, and I kind of been at the end the last few years just because what Roy Williams has done to help their team succeed and just inspire that they could really do greater than just going to the March Madness. It's about winning championships, and that's what North Carolina has. We'll go with the Minnesota Golden Gophers to upset the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Virginia and Iowa. This will be a great matchup, but I see Tony Bennett's team again falling south. So go Hawks! The Hawks will make the Sweet 16. Fresno State and Houston. This will be a good matchup as well. But I'll go with the Houston Cougars, who nearly beat my Wolverines, but we'll have them in the Sweet 16 against Fresno. That beat Fresno State. Arizona State, Syracuse. Like I said, really like Boeheim's 2-3 zone. It really gives gives other teams a really hard time to control what they could do against Syracuse. So Syracuse will go to the Sweet 16 over Oklahoma. Villanova, Tennessee. This is a really good matchup. This will be one of the best matchups of the year if this bracket, some of this bracket is correct. We'll go with the Vols this year, and I hope they can make a run with a lot of their senior class coming back. Michigan and St. John's. This is what I'm really nervous about. St. John's will give it a game, but we'll advance to the Sweet 16. Buffalo and Auburn. We'll go with Auburn. No, I mean Buffalo. Excuse me. Go with Marquette here. They'll pull out the upset, and Marcus Howard will be here will keep shining for his junior season before he goes pro. So we'll have the Marquette Golden Eagles beat Virginia Tech. Maryland and Kansas. This will be a good game, but Bill Self's Kansas team, they're still succeeding. They made the Final Four last year. Nearly made the championship game against my Wolverines, but too close. No cigar. Duke and Wisconsin. This is a rematch of the national championship game in 2015. Such a bummer that my hometown Wisconsin Badgers could not win the game, and my mom was there, and she's a big Duke fan. She was kind of rooting for Wisconsin because only 25% were Duke fans, according to her, and I could tell, and 75% were Wisconsin fans, and I truly felt bad that they couldn't pull out the championship game against a really tough Duke team. We'll go with Duke in a good matchup. Arizona and Texas Tech. Arizona will keep riding. Michigan State will beat Florida State. Their run will end because Izzo will just continue to keep playing championship basketball in this tournament. We got Minnesota upsetting North Carolina. Got Houston upsetting me in Iowa. And Tennessee will actually beat Syracuse. They'll end Syracuse's run there. I think in the Sweet 16 they're gonna have a hard time matching up with Tennessee's size on the court. Michigan will beat Buffalo. Another tough game. No game's easy in the tournament, as we all know. Marquette's season will end against Kansas, but it would be phenomenal. They made the Sweet 16. I'll be like making the Final Four for how long it's been since Marquette has been in, with Wojo really changing the culture in Milwaukee. Arizona's run will end against Duke. This will be a good game. Minnesota their season will end in Elite Eight, so they'll fall one game short, just like the Minnesota Vikings did in 2017. They fell one game short to the Philadelphia Eagles to make their hometown Super Bowl, but we'll go with the Spartans. Houston, Tennessee. This is a big game. Houston's size will keep them running in the tournament, but Tennessee will go to the Final Four. I'm really happy. I'm really highly thinking the 2-1 seeds will be tough. We'll beat Kansas. I'm just rethinking right now. Trey Burke's shot in the Sweet 16 against Kansas. It made me change everything about Michigan. I was about to go at Arcade and Wisconsin Dells at Kalahari when we were losing to Kansas. I'm like, the season's over. No national championship. No Final Four. And then from the HDTV, since they only had standard screening, my dad said it. My dad unplugged it because it wasn't working. I'm like, this one's over. We're leaving. And then right before I leave the couch, Trey Burke hits the shot and goes into overtime. And then from there, unbelievable. My reaction is so priceless, and that was one of the best nights of my life as well. But we'll go with Michigan. They repeat their try at the Final Four. Duke, Michigan State. I really like this matchup. This could have happened in the Sweet 16 last year, but I was the lucky one having Syracuse defeat Michigan State at Detroit, and it was funny as a Michigan fan seeing them lose at their home court during the round of 32. That was enjoyable for me. I celebrated in the car on that one. But I see Michigan State's run ending in the Final Four, and this is a rematch of the semifinal in 2015 at Indianapolis. So this will be a big game, and it will come down to the end, but Duke will win this. We got Tennessee and Michigan. Tennessee's going to really battle it out. They played each other in the 2013 NCAA tournament, the first round. I was nervous. The Sweet 16, excuse me. I was nervous as heck that they wouldn't pull out that game and the Michigan's defense continues to be tremendous, and they will beat Tennessee, and it won't even in the second half they will run away because their defense can scare the country. Duke and Michigan, if this happens, my mom and I gotta go to Minneapolis. This is just obvious, and what the prediction is, I don't know what I don't know all the Duke players, but I think my Wolverines, after last night, it was unbelievable how well they played against Illinois, and I couldn't believe how good Barstinkas is. We have one of the best recruits I've ever imagined, and he could stay for more than a sophomore year if he really enjoys the Wolverine experience. And in Minneapolis, I have my Michigan Wolverines winning it all against Duke. So this is it for Friday, January 11th prediction. See you next time, and subscribe to my page. Thanks, and have a wonderful weekend, and enjoy NFL playoff action. Bye.